All right, we're a quarter of the way through the season, believe it or not. This is week 5, boys, and we're down Seth again. Seth, this is your second show, strike 2, if you will. But you know what? You handed in your doctor's note a little early this week, so I'll give it to you. Um, we'll let you slide this week. Hope you're feeling better and get you back next week, healthy and free of Ebola or whatever you're suffering from over there. Um, yeah, so week 5. I want to quickly run through the injuries, and then you can tell I'm looking a little depressed right now. We'll get into why, but let me very just get through our injuries here in week 4.
Hey, can I interrupt you for a second?
Yeah.
I've prepared an opening rant for this show.
Oh, nice.
All right, and it goes like this.
Go for it.
Roger Goodell is a liar. I'm saying it. That dude is a liar. And I think if he took a lie detector test, he would fail. And Rob, I really hope you phone or email me about this, because if you do, I'm going public. You're a podcast, and I can say it. The commissioner's a liar.
Oh,
Please call
man.
and tell me that I'm in trouble. I dare you.
You dare me. You dare me. Mr. Simmons, I don't know what to do about
All
this.
right.
You know, if I really was ESPN, I would suspend you. But you know what? This is a fun show, and I'm okay with that. I think he's a liar too. So guess what? You're staying, despite the fact that you're trying to get out of here for a Pirates playoff game. So,
R.I.P. Bill Simmons. Tough.
oh, what a shame that is. That
It's a
man.
total shame.
I hate him when he's doing the NBA stuff, sitting on there with that panel, but on his own he's fantastic, and I just hate that he gets just mistreated the way he does.
I felt like that too, and I kind of turned a little bit. I think they suspended him for being openly insubordinate, but it should have been a slap on the wrist.
Of ESPN.
Yeah, I think it could have been a couple days, and that would have been it. That they just made a bigger story out of it.
I just got a notification that Seth is here. Should we let him join? Can he join?
I don't know.
We'll see if he jumps. If he jumps on mid
He's
podcast.
invited, yeah, sure.
If he jumps in, he's here.
We'll
So
do it
let's
live.
see. We'll do a live transition to Seth. But until then, let's quickly run through the injuries. If someone wants to message him while I'm doing this, that works great.
Yeah.
So what do we got? We have start with Thursday. Teddy Bridgewater sitting there with an ankle injury, probably going to start, but just in case, you'll have Christian Ponder as a backup. Hopefully, you're not starting him. Pitta, this is actually kind
sleeper.
of deep sleeper. Pitta, Dennis Pitta. This is kind of some breaking news today. His hip, he was getting questioned about that potentially being a career-ending injury. He wouldn't answer the question directly. He kept talking about how he's going to work through it and try to get back to playing. But it's a possibility that he never steps on the field again, which is kind of crazy. That hip, man. What are you going to do? E.J. Manuel benched for Kyle Orton this week, going against the Lions in Detroit. So if you want to take a chance on Mr. Orton throwing up to Sammy Watkins, be my guest. I wouldn't do it.
They upgraded their QE position from a C- to a C.
Yeah, very good job there. Carolina's running back field, all of it is decimated. Stewart, D'Angelo Williams, and it's a mess. So if you want to start undrafted rookie, Darren Reeves out of UAB, go ahead. He had a ton of touches. He had a career high. That's not saying much for just 4 games. Amount of snaps last week. I don't know that that ESPN hasn't projected for like 10 points this week, but rookie starting, we'll see. Romo listed as questionable this week with the back. He's going to start obviously, but that's something. It really is something to keep an eye on, and is definitely part of the reason why I think DeMarco Murray's getting so much playing, so many touches this year, is because of his back, and they're actually being careful. So my concern is later down the road with him, and when the weather starts getting colder and he's out, outside playing those NFC East teams, that could tighten up and that could become a real problem down the stretch. Even though they're looking good right now, don't be surprised if they finish 8-8 again.
He's questionable.
He's questionable right now. That was
they're gonna lose that game.
Yeah. It's a big one for them.
Brandon Whedon.
The other side of that. The field for that one, Foster's still saying he's not 100%. I believe it because he was on my team and absolutely did jack poop last week. Hate him. Joe McKnight placed on IR for Kansas City, so Jamal Charles obviously getting his touches and putting up monster numbers, so just expect to see more of that. And Mike Evans is out 2 to 3 weeks with a groin strain. So he looked pretty well early in his rookie year.
He was a favorite of the show until he got hurt.
Until he got hurt.
Predictions.
So keep an eye on that. So anyway, that's the injuries. I don't know if you guys have anything else to add to that, but if not, I'm going to get into the next little hijacking of the headline news here. I sucked. No, it has nothing to do with the Eagles. It has to do with my fantasy team, and I'm at the point now this year where I'm sitting here 1-3. I started. I don't want to jump ahead too far, but with my right and wrongs, I picked up Eli Manning this week off of waivers because I had Peyton was on his bye, so I needed to fill in there. Eli put up big numbers. I had Donnell, his tight end, putting up big numbers, and 57 points on two guys that I played on Thursday night heading into the weekends. The rest of my team put up like 44 points, and I lost. I was feeling so good, and I'm just at the point now, 1-3. What do I do? I mean, do I make a trade? Do I gotta try to work the waiver wire? I feel like my season is in shambles and it hasn't even started.
Yeah, this is you're in that. I mean, it's never easy when you have a strong team, and they actually have a strong week. You would have. I'm looking at your team right now, and you would have taken out most of other teams if you had you faced them. What's that? Except for one. Yeah. So I mean, that's where the luck of fantasy football rears its ugly head. I mean, you can do all the research and make all the right moves, and I mean, there's really nothing you can do. Well, Patriots D, that wasn't a good move.
Yeah, that was. I mean, if we're getting into right and wrong now,
Yeah.
I mentioned before the show that if I had the lead or was even close, and it would only came down to needing points from Edelman, I would have sat that defense because I just didn't have a good feeling going into that game. Plus, there's always the possibility, defenses go negative, and if by chance they're on a Monday night and you can make that kind of call or late Sunday, sit them. It doesn't matter what kind of defense they are. If you're up, you're up, and just take the W. I don't care about racking up points if I have a lead or if I'm in a pretty good position to win. So, yeah, I don't know. It's so tough. It's so disheartening, and it's really frustrating. So, Max? You were kind of in this position last week.
Yeah, and then I was absolutely in this position last week, and then I received the greatest cure for fantasy football of all. I won. And that really revitalizes the whole fantasy football attitude.
Yeah.
But that really is what it takes. Now I have a slightly better record than you, but it's going to take a couple wins maybe in your case. How is this next week looking for you, or is it favorable?
Well, the thing is, here's actually a question let me pose to you guys. This is something I was setting up my roster this week, and now that I have both Mannings on it, I'm looking to this week, and Eli is projected to do a little bit less than Peyton, like 6 points less. But Peyton I know he's playing at home, but he's going up against a tough Arizona team whose defense has really been great this year, and they're holding. They're only ranked 13th against opposing quarterbacks, but they are a strong defense. Meanwhile, Eli is taking on the Falcons at home, who we all know the Falcons suck on the road outside of the Georgia Dome. What call do you make there?
Well, if you're going down that road, you got to trade Manning then. Trade Peyton Manning. If you're thinking of sitting him even for a week, you got to get him on the block then, because his value is you march him out every week. When you decide you don't want a consistent starting quarterback anymore, you ship him out of town. You sound like you want to go by quarterback by committee, which may or may not be a good idea, but you're essentially doing that, and you paid top dollar for a start every week guy. So I'd love to make a bold trade, bold, decisive trade.
Yeah, that's fair. That's not a bad idea.
All right, look at your roster too. You got a bench Sproles. You got to stop doing that. That's not getting anywhere. Decker, I don't like that either. Get Decker.
My problem is I sat him last week. The thing that concerns me about him is the hamstring. He's always listed as questionable going in every week. But he has put up double digits consistently. So, except for last week when he did get hurt, he went out early 2 weeks ago against Chicago. But when he's in there, he's putting up points. So, the thing is, I'm strong at wide receiver. I feel. I know if you're looking at my
sorta.
starting roster, for this week, it doesn't look to be the case. But I mean, I got Macklin, Decker, Edelman was doing well until this week. Jordan Matthews turned it on the last 2 weeks. Not necessarily this past week, but he had his big breakout game against Washington. And I mean that's comparing. You're saying Sproles, Foster, and Alfred Blue are my running backs outside of Frank Gore.
Another thing you need to do is handcuff your running backs. You have Blue, so that's a good start. I would pick up Carlos Hyde to handcuff with Gore because you're running some pretty flimsy running backs out there.
That's fair.
Other than that, I would trade Manning for depth.
Depth, yeah. I need depth. I know that's my problem.
Depth is important, especially while we're getting deeper into the bye weeks here.
Yeah. So
don't lowball. Find a trade offer you want and make a bold, firm, fair trade. As soon as you lowball somebody, you declare your intention to trade, and you're gonna get raked through the coals.
Talking from experience?
No, I get respect. I respect your offer, but I can't take it.
All right, cool. Well, now that we basically tore apart my roster for my rights and wrongs, which are pretty much all wrongs at this point, and I'm hosting this show, so I don't know what that says. What about you guys? I think you're both coming off pretty big W's, so what went right for you this week?
Sorry, I'm looking to see because Seth, our absent member, sent me a trade offer, and I want to get it right so I can present it to the panel here.
Do you want to stall for time?
Go first.
All right.
Mark, go first.
This will trip some time. All right. I dominated. It was really easy to win, and it was great. Everyone scored essentially. Breeze is still disappointing, but we're starting to see his floor. His floor is supposed to be close to 302 touchdowns every week, and that's really what you're paying for. So that was good. Charles is back, and he's looking really injury-free. I wasn't expecting that, especially since he was supposed to have they were saying a not that bad high ankle sprain, but I didn't buy that. When you see high ankle sprain, that's usually death for a running back season, so that was really encouraging. Asiata playing over his head with 3 touchdowns. That won't last, but whatever. I don't really care about that. And Antonio Brown, who was probably my best pick of the draft. Picked him up in the 3rd round, and it's pretty nice. It was a homer pick, and I don't regret it. And basically, my goal is to rotate Brian Quick and DeAndre Hopkins in the flex and just stay the course. When I get to the playoffs, I stashed Prater, who's coming back soon, and I stashed Josh Gordon. So once I'm in the playoffs, I'll just march those guys out, and I should be good to go.
Nice.
Crazy.
It doesn't look like I'm going to be able to find this, but I won't be able to do it justice. But it involved Doug Martin and Bobby Rainey for DeMarco Murray, and I pretty much just laughed and laughed and laughed and laughed, and then declined it. Yeah. But there was more to it than that, but it was really uneven, and it was insulting. It was an insulting trade. So anyway,
I got a lot of those.
Yeah.
Not from him, but just this year in general.
Yeah.
Yep, that happens. So what went right? Well, the Bears D went wrong. I won the game, but it was lucky. I would have lost by most other teams. The Bears D, I had to drop them immediately because they're not who I thought they were. They're bad. They're as bad as I thought they were in week 1. They went back to their old bad ways. So I'm dropping them. They scored me 1 point, and that was in the last quarter. I think they got that 1 point. They were riding the negatives for a pretty long time. Now, the problem with my team now is the balance between Sean Green and Chris Johnson. Which running back is going to show up? And I keep getting it wrong. I had Sean Green on the bench last week.
There is no right answer.
No, it's ridiculous. And then Chris Johnson had 11 points, and he rode the pine this week, and Sean Green threw up a 1-point game. So I just don't know. I have to flip a coin every week to see who I start, and that's the problem I'm running into now. Cam Newton, the Cam Newton test has failed. I got to bench him. But I picked up Teddy Bridgewater off waivers. I'm pretty happy about that, but that'll we'll talk about him a little later on. We're talking about future MVPs and bold
All
predictions.
All right. Well, so before we jump to that, though, I guess we got last week's MVPs. Even though I lost, I'm going to go with the combination of Manning and Donnell. Let me say that right, Donnell. 57 points combined. Manning had, I think he was the highest scoring fantasy guy this week. 33 points against Washington. Made him. I mean, he looked like he was deserving of the last name finally. No, only one interception, and it was kind of a crazy one that bounced around. Finally, whatever. The Super Bowls. Yeah, he's Eli Manning. He's terrible. I hate him. He's god awful. The last 3 years, it's been pick after pick after pick.
Really bad.
So,
really bad. Yeah.
He's been really bad. He's been really bad. So, fine. He got his last name back. How about that? He brought Manning back.
Sure.
I can't go wrong there. I mean, they did fantastic together. Donnell caught 3 touchdowns himself, 3 of Eli's 4. So I don't know if it's a sign of things to come, but at the very least, they did great for 1 week, and were very deserving, I think, of an MVP nod.
Yeah. Let's say that. My nomination would just be DeMarco Murray. He's been. Is he still the league's top rusher?
Yeah, he was clear before they started that game, and now he's like way more out in front.
He's awesome. He's the only thing on my team that works consistently, and he's been the greatest pickup of the year for me. So DeMarco Murray, good work.
Mark?
I would like to highlight the accomplishments of Andrew Luck, since he is my MVP of next week every single week, and last week was no different. To be fair, I would put him about third or so, but that's still pretty good, because I will pick him again for next week as fantasy MVP. Other than that, probably Charles, because boy, we needed it. Us Charles owners, we needed something for that third overall pick. And then Asiata, because I only nominate players that I own, apparently. And also because he probably wasn't started as much as the others.
Fair enough. That's fair. For Luck, does it concern? I mean, not that it should be a concern, but the defenses he faced the last couple of weeks weren't really. I wouldn't call them much of a defense. Either one.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, Jacksonville and Tennessee. Moving forward, he's got. I mean, the rest of his schedule is still. I don't know. Not the hardest thing out there.
He is the one-man show. No, none whatsoever. It's the perfect storm. I keep saying this. He doesn't care. He'll throw it. He's not scared of interceptions. The rest of the team around him sucks. They can't run the ball. He has to throw. Their defense isn't that good either, so they'll probably get behind. So it's non-negotiable. He's heaving it. And he just so happens to be good enough where, all right, 400 yards, 4 touchdowns every single week.
Crazy. So I think this Thursday night quarterback that's going to be nominated this week, is that right, Max?
The what?
For this upcoming week? There's a Thursday night quarterback that's going to be nominated for upcoming MVP. Is that what we heard?
What's the Thursday game?
Bridgewater. He's talking about Bridgewater.
No, what is? But I didn't see what the Thursday night game was. That's why it caught me off.
Minnesota Green Bay.
Minnesota Green Bay. Yeah. So it's going to be. You can't expect him to do as well because the Packers D is bad, but teams are now going to prepare for him, and so that's going to be the problem because he wasn't originally scheduled to start that game on Sunday, was he? Or was he?
Yes, I think. About 2 weeks ago, right?
Oh, okay.
That was his first. That was his first start.
Yeah, this was his first start. So I can't remember when he was announced as the starter, but
during the game, Castle shattered his foot.
So. Yeah, it was during the game, right? That's what I was saying. Okay, that was my point. Okay, so teams are going to start preparing for him because the defense had the game plan for Castle and not for Bridgewater, and they're different style quarterbacks. But Bridgewater, great. I mean, he was. He ran when he needed to. Had looked like a strong arm. Really exceeded anyone's expectations, I think. especially in start number 1. So yeah, I think he. I mean, you can't call him the truth, but judging by one game, but it looks like it's certainly possible.
Yeah, I mean, he of the rookie quarterbacks so far this year, and I think 4 of them have started. 3 or 4? 3 have started now. Bortles, Bridgewater, and Carr.
Another one in there.
I don't. Manziel hasn't started yet. I know he's had time, but I don't think he's started yet. But either way, he definitely looked the strongest of the rookie QBs that have started so far. Bortles looked good in his relief game 2 weeks ago, the same time Teddy made his relief debut. But he definitely did look the best out of any of them in his first start.
Yep.
So
I'm starting him in my other league. I'm going to start him over Brady. I'm going out on a limb.
That's
Brady.
not...
Brady's
done.
Brady's done.
Yeah, done for.
Yeah,
he's done in New England.
I think I mean, it's not only him, but I think the Belichick era is now in jeopardy. Like when Brady doesn't have confidence in the offense, that's a horrible sign. Like what was his quote?
He doesn't have confidence in himself.
guys, we're on to Cincinnati.
Keep on shoveling. He's done.
We're on to Cincinnati.
The quote today, or no, not today, but I think it was earlier this week after the Monday game. Brady's quote was, "We don't have the offense that can successfully perform on a high level." Like, oh no, that's bad. That's something you don't want to hear from your quarterback.
And I'm not saying I'm not saying Tom Brady's a bad person, but I know I would have high-fived Jimmy Garoppolo.
I tried to see that snub, and I didn't see it. I didn't rely on the DVR.
I didn't need to see it.
Ridiculous. Oh, man. I guess my MVP, nothing sort of out of the ordinary or spectacular here, but when you got New York traveling, the Jets are traveling cross-country to San Diego this week. So Phillip Rivers, I think, primed for another top-notch performance. Can't go wrong there. So matchups to avoid and that you're looking forward to. Who wants to take it first? I'll take it first.
Go ahead. Go.
Please do. I'm telling the schedule.
Yep.
This is a it's not surprising at this point, but it's one that fantasy owners aren't going to say, oh, just because the Falcons are playing in New York, I'm going to sit Roddy White or Julio Jones or anything, barring injury. But look out for that matchup. It's crazy, man. The Falcons are I know pretty much the entire NFC South is a different team when they play on the road. And I'm really by the South, I'm just talking about New Orleans and Atlanta. But listen to these numbers for Matt Ryan on the road versus Matt Ryan at home. At home, he's got 6 TDs, 0 interceptions, 77.6% completion percentage, and a 142.2 QB rating. On the road, 4 TDs, 5 interceptions, a 57.6% completion percentage, and a 67.2 QB rating.
Is that the last year that you're talking about?
That's this season. It's
small sample size.
Small sample size. But it's outdoor versus indoor. I think historically he might not be that bad on the road, but he's definitely worse on the road than he is at home. And for whatever reason, this year has been something. It's extraordinary. It's been just magnified to the nth degree, and he's just horrible.
Let's talk about something. Are the Saints a bad football team?
Yes.
I think they might be. I think they might be
one better. They're gonna lose at home to Tampa this week.
Oh, man,
that's a bold prediction.
The thing is,
1-3 team beats another 1-3 team.
I literally don't know what to make of this NFL season because we thought, was it not 2 weeks ago that we were writing off Green Bay as a sneaky bad football team, and look what they did to Chicago.
We should have listened. We should have relaxed. We should have listened to Aaron Rodgers.
A-X.
Weird dude, that Aaron Rodgers. You imagine Brady, if Brady did that exact same thing, if Brady after the Monday Night game.
Belichick might have cut him.
R-E-L-A. This is the creepiest, weirdest thing.
Ridiculous. But just those numbers, and I look to avoid Atlanta on the road, and I know the wide receivers are a little bit nicked up right now, so I don't expect you're going to start them, I know, but don't expect great, giant, large figures out of them this week. And then for the other side, the matchups to go for, Detroit at home against Buffalo. That's all I'm going to say. Buffalo is trending downward big time right now, and Detroit, they looked great. They were on the road last week, I believe, and I wrote them off as a potential to get up. Oh, yeah, they were in New York. They were playing the Jets. I wrote them off as a potential to get upset there, and it was close, but, they've competent football team on the road, which has not been their, story thus far, sort of historically over the last, the Matthew Stafford era. So they're for real. Look for them to put up amazing numbers, giant numbers against the Bills.
Mm-hmm.
Next.
Go ahead.
We're still. Are we in matchups good or bad? Which one?
Both.
An awful football team who isn't getting like a ton of play are the Jets. I think they're awful, like really bad. So like San Diego, on the other hand, is a very good football team, and they play the Jets this week. So that is a matchup. If you have any San Diego Chargers on your team, start them.
Except for any running back, because the Jets can stop the run.
Yeah, for whatever reason, that's like the one thing they're good
That's
at.
the only thing they can do. Yeah.
They're really good at it.
Mm-hmm. But their defense doesn't even look that strong. I mean, Rex Ryan is a defensive-minded coach, but their defense doesn't look that good. I think they're like an all-around bad football team.
Cool.
Yeah.
Do you have any to look for? Well, San Diego going against the Jets.
Mm-hmm.
Mark?
Matchups. How do you feel? One more I'll throw out here. How do we feel about San Francisco?
You're stepping on my segment.
Oh, sorry.
Go for it.
No, go ahead.
All right. Well, I was going to nominate a matchup of intrigue, and that's what we have in San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
Two teams that we're not quite sure about. I think one of these teams will emerge as a legitimate team, Kansas City versus San Francisco. One will come out looking legit, and the other one will look like the shaky potential collapse we were expecting.
Ooh.
I don't know which one is which. We speculated about both. I've trashed Kansas City, but I'll say it. I think Alex Smith's the better quarterback right now. I would take Kansas City.
There's no doubt. There's no doubt he is. I second that opinion. And it's tough. His emotion going back playing in San Francisco, I think is going to play a huge factor there, possibly for the better, his benefit. At the same time, Kansas City looked so awful the first 2 weeks of the season, and San Francisco is just I don't know. I mean I don't know what you think of them. They basically shut down Chip Kelly's offense last week.
Not basically.
And that's saying something.
They did.
No, not basically. They did. Yeah. It was awful. The offense didn't score any points.
None.
Couldn't get.
And I will say I'm tired of the Alex Smith game manager comparisons. That's almost as tiresome as hearing about Ned Yost's small ball last night.
Yeah.
But
minuscule ball, microscopic ball.
And that's a good drinking game. But I don't think that's the case. I don't think he's a game manager. I just think he executes the offense, which is splitting hairs. But it's not like they scale things back for him. He just runs the scheme. He doesn't take stupid chances. He's not a gunslinger, but he runs offense.
Mm-hmm.
I'm with you there.
Sure.
The other thing about San Francisco, they were a very desperate team last week, and desperation definitely has impact on games. I know last second I talked, I said emotion for Alex Smith, and now I'm talking about desperation. But there are things that influence games, and they were playing to avoid that 1-3 start, and they came out inspired. They looked inspired. They played incredible and did their job. Whether they can carry that over, it takes a lot out of a team too, though. So whether they can carry that over to this week is something to be seen. I don't know. That offense, I know Frank Gore ran all over the Eagles, but the Eagles aren't a good run defense as much as people want to try to say that they are. I mean, look what Indianapolis did a couple weeks ago when they have no run game whatsoever and basically outran Andrew Luck's passing game. I just don't have a lot of faith in San Francisco. Too many injuries, too much outside distractions going on. So I I think Kansas City comes out of that one looking good.
Sure.
I have one more good one, and because let's count myself, St. Louis versus Philadelphia. Go Rams heavy.
No.
I really enjoy Austin Davis's body of work.
You're done. I muted Mark.
No.
The mute button comes out. The mute button comes out. I can't listen to that.
Ooh.
No.
I think it's valid.
Sure.
No, everyone trashes the Rams. I think they're a better team than we're giving them credit for. I know they started slow, but their defense apparently is supposed to be good. It hasn't really shown up yet.
Mm-mm.
I feel like maybe after the bye week it'll gel. But Davis, for being this like no-name backup, can actually like sling the ball downfield, which is they've never been able to do that. That's like their
concerns me because we all know the Eagles suck against no-name quarterbacks. They're terrible. They make them look like future Hall of Famers.
and you would think they'd be able to run the ball. So I don't know. I would really look heavily into Brian Quick, who's going to make another return appearance on the bold predictions coming up soon.
You want to get it started?
All right, Brian Quick. We'll have a good game. Let's say, what did I say before? Last time I said 2 touchdowns at 100 yards. So let's do 2 touchdowns at 150 yards.
It's fair.
Sure.
Max?
In the first half.
In the first half.
Teddy Bridgewater scores more fantasy points than Tom Brady this week.
That's a spiteful little bold prediction.
Yeah. It's a good one.
I got one here. The rumblings have been happening, and I know they've been denied by the head coach here. But I think that Michael Vick outscores Geno Smith in fantasy points this week.
You think they're gonna start him?
They're not going to start him unless you're talking about the second half.
Yeah. Okay.
I think he comes in for the second half and outscores Geno.
Wow.
So something's got to be done there. Management is under fire this week. They got Joe Namath coming out saying they don't like he doesn't like how things are going. So
Namath.
Pressure's going to mount, and then maybe Woody comes down from the press box at halftime and basically throws Rex to the curb and says, we're starting Vic. So that is my bold prediction.
And tells Rex Ryan he wants to kiss him.
Yeah. Right.
Good old Namath. I got another one, and it's not even really fantasy related, but I'm just going to do it anyway, so I want to talk about it. Ben Roethlisberger, starting quarterback for the Arizona Cardinals next season.
Whoa. Bruce Arians courts him.
Yes, that's the way I'm thinking.
Pittsburgh draft, or do they start? Who they got? Mettenberg there?
Mettenberger?
Murray?
No.
Who do they have as backup?
Gradkowski?
He's not gonna go to the Cardinals.
He's gonna get traded.
That's
my honest thought.
Yeah, I think he would go to a team that is in more need of a quarterback.
Like Arizona.
No. Carson Palmer's gonna have a good year. He's gonna be back.
He just relapsed.
What do you mean?
More time. I think he's missing more time now.
No, I thought he was starting this week.
No, he's not starting. I saw.
He's not?
No.
Palmer seeks second opinion on shoulder. Carson Palmer suffers setback.
Oh no. Okay.
Oh,
all right.
But fervent listeners of this show remember from last week when I said Tampa would beat the Steelers.
Yeah.
I think they're stuck in a perpetual 8-8 hell, and they're not going to fire anybody. But
I disagree with that. I think they fire somebody.
They won't.
Somebody gets fired if this season ends up 8-8.
Nope. Mike Tomlin will be the latter-day Jason Garrett. He will never get fired, and he'll just hover 8-8 forever.
Oh,
what about? I guess it's safe to say LeBeau will never get fired.
You don't think he will?
But
Haley.
here first. He won't get fired either. 8-8, he won't get fired.
I think Haley's the first. If they don't go over 500 or make the playoffs, Haley's got to be gone. There's been so many rumblings about him leaving.
He has organizational ties, though. Because Dad was the GM of the Steel Curtain.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. It'll be interesting, but I think that is intriguing. Your Roethlisberger little bold prediction there.
And Arians, in retirement, has become the first retired head coach to be Probably the best coach in the league. That is amazing.
It'll be so weird for you to see Roethlisberger in another uniform. It'll be like McNabb playing when he went to the Redskins and Vikings.
I think it's going to happen eventually, though. If not, even if it doesn't happen next year, 'cause the
Sure,
cap
he's
is
not-
just
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
they butchered the cap so severely that I don't see how they can afford to extend him.
Yeah, he's not going to retire as Steeler.
Yeah, unfortunate, but oh well. So that anything else for the go to the order, or are we just gonna play it out and see how it goes, and hopefully I come back next week with a W?
I got nothing.
Nothing. Awesome. Well, good luck everyone, and
Go Pirates, I guess.
go Pirates. Yeah, this maybe by the time you're watching this, they are losers already or winners.
No, this is for the future. I'm wearing this hat to celebrate.
I won a Pirates Royals World Series so badly.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll get it.
Yeah.
All right.
Probably not.
Well, see you all. Yes. See you all for week 6 in a week. So, later.